Hola amigos, how's it going? It's your pal Dave up on the job site yet again. It's Friday, like January 27th or so, I think it is. I wish I had some progress I could share with you guys, but I don't. Things have been on hold because of the water. Unfortunately, the well went out, if you recall, and it sounds like it's going to be fixed now on Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's kind of put us in a holding pattern for the time being. But you know, in a way, I think that's a good thing, because come to realize we really weren't doing things the right way. We're really having some problems, and unfortunately, a lot of those problems are stemming from right where I happen to be sitting right here on the rooftop deck. Unfortunately, the property is just really not designed for this. I mean, it's not that the roof creates any more weight; it just creates shear. You know, this kind of movement, and it's just because we're a little too tall. You know, if you're standing on flat feet, you don't have any problem with stability, right? But as soon as you go up on your tiptoes, you start getting wobbly, and that's really the problem that we're dealing with. So we've talked about options. We've talked about, you know, oh, we can add more beams here and more beams there and everything, but it's a ton of money and a lot of labor, and you just have to ask yourself, what's the return on this? Switch hands. You know, I really just want these things to be honeymoon suites, and the idea of having a deck up here that's, you know, it's 7 meters by 7 meters, 49 square meters, is a little bit overkill for just like a two-person cabina. So the idea was, well, maybe we just do this part over here as a deck, since we already have the stairs coming up. Even doing that would require a whole bunch of adding beams. Here, let me swing around so I can point and you can see what I'm talking about. There, that's a little bit easier. Let's go wide. There we go, that's better. So what if we just did a deck along here? Even then, this is the most flexy part right here. So we would have to do additional beams along here and along here, probably another one here. And it was just going to be a massive undertaking just to have this rooftop deck, which I will also be honest, my neighbors over there aren't crazy about, because I really peer into their property quite a bit from up here. But I mean, when I came up here, I was so inspired because this is such a gorgeous spot. I mean, look at this view all the way around. But you know, that's me being led by my heart and not my head. There are other places on this property that you can still really enjoy the view, maybe not from just one location, but to try and do this rooftop deck is just, it's a little too much. And I gotta admit, I really think it looks ugly from down on the street when you're looking up at this underneath here. I mean, it's just not that pretty. So we're gonna scrap it. I'm gonna have it all dismantled. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to reuse all this railing, balcony stuff. We don't have any of the balconies done yet on either of the other properties there, like we do down here. So I'm pretty sure that we can reuse all this stuff. But this is just creating too much shear, too much of this back and forth wiggle action. And to fix it, it's just not worth it just to have a deck up here. And I mean, these are supposed to be little rentals, and would it really add that much rent to the project if we had a rooftop deck? I mean, if you had the option and it was going to be $300 a night without a deck, a rooftop deck, $500 a night with a rooftop deck, you might be like, yeah, screw the rooftop deck. Because the truth is, the view from here is amazing too. You just don't get it all from one space. I mean, you get this view from this window here, and then you get the rest of it from over here. But I mean, it's still amazing view, right? So, and by not having a rooftop deck, we don't have to worry about modifying any of this stuff down here too, because this is where all the beams would go, and it would end up creating a lower ceiling, and again, just a ton more work. And there was even a discussion about putting in some cross members through here to avoid the shear in there as well. But if we just said, screw the rooftop deck, it suddenly gets a whole lot easier and we're a whole lot closer to completion. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Actually, I know that's what we're gonna do. I met with a new builder today. His name's Roberto as well, but really cool guy. Lives just like 2 or 3 doors down from me. And he agreed. He just thought that it might be something if we were gonna add a whole nother living space up there, if we were gonna make a whole nother apartment on the upstairs level, that it would make sense to do all of this support work. But if you remember, we were even talking about an additional post here, an additional post here, an additional post here. That is an awful lot of work just to have a rooftop deck, isn't it? Now, I mean, please, if you've got experience in all this, I'm more than happy to read any comments that you guys might have. But I still think, just as it is, without the rooftop deck, it's going to be pretty awesome. You know, we'll still do a nice little privacy fence along the perimeter, you know, along this edge right here, so that you're not, you know, looking into your neighbor's pool and all of that. And we'll have this area right here where we'll do some landscaping and some grass, and I mean, we'll trim back the trees and stuff just a little bit, but you still have just this amazing view from here. And you know, we're gonna have some sort of border along here with plants as well, so you're not looking at the bumper of your car. Obviously, I'm standing in the parking area, so you know, again, I'm just trying to create some privacy for the pools. We'll do some of the fake grass. On top of that's the little pump house over there, and each one has a pump house, although they're not all as big as that one. But yeah, I think there's going to be plenty of like living space. I just saw that rooftop deck as something so awesome, but you know, it wasn't designed that way in the first place. So it was kind of an add-on, and unfortunately, it's just not practical. I mean, we could do it, but it would just be ridiculously expensive, and then the return on that investment just wouldn't be there. I mean, it's not like I can up the price that much more just for having a rooftop deck. So like I said, had a really nice conversation with this new builder, Roberto, and he's going to put some numbers together for me and give me an idea of what we're looking at to get at least the first one finished, and then we'll go from there. Now, my other thought over here that I'm trying to process is what to do with the rest of this lot. Roberto thought, hey, do a couple more of these, you know? Although I'm not as keen on that. Now, at one point, I had kind of these grandiose plans of doing a main house here that I could host parties and whatnot. But you know, I'm not as keen on that plan either. I just don't think that the house was going to be exactly what I wanted it to be. And so then I started thinking about maybe doing the glamping in here. I mean, I still haven't written off the idea of doing the deck over there on that side. You know, on the other side of the fence, if you remember, my thought was to do, you know, a deck on the other side of the road there, because I have land going down that hill there too, and doing some glamping tents along there. But over here, now I'm a little bit more inclined to just do something a little bit simpler. Maybe like a Ramada, open living space right there, common space, like a suite over here and a suite over here. Still do like a storage space over here with a laundry and a place to keep rental bikes and kayaks, surfboards, things like that. And then a pool basically here in the middle. And just have it as a one level space. And I would actually live up here in that, in this concept, I guess. In some of the other concepts, I would stay at my rental down the hill, but you know, had a long chat with my buddy Dustin just now, and he's like, man, you're selling yourself short, basically, not living up here. You know, when I come up here, I never want to leave. And when you imagine that I'd be standing in the middle of a pool right here, and then off on this side would be an open ramada where you could have, you know, some grills and some tables and chairs and some hammocks. I could even have the pool table out here. That sounds really appealing to me. You know, just a place where I would be really comfortable and I wouldn't want to leave. Now, this is all phase 2. And I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's still hard to come up here and not think about what to do with this space. But I mean, it's a lot of land that we can do. So again, from this perspective, there would be like a suite here, probably, you know, a regular kitchen here, and then it would open up into this ramada. And if you remember, you can see here, there's still a fair amount of land out to that little curved point right there where it could be covered living space. And then the other suite would be over there where the little shack is right now. So if I wanted to, I could have renters over there. I could have another rental space that's available there. And they would just have to understand that, hey, I have dogs and cats, and that's just the way it's going to be. But I think something like that would be a little bit more comfortable than what my initial plans were. The initial plans were something, you know, really modern looking and not really my speed, not really my taste. And I think something like this is a little bit more to my liking, where I would actually like to live up here. And, you know, we have some room to work with too. I mean, we'll finish off this wall here, but you can see there's that little flat plateau that we built there. That was mostly for drainage, but that thing's rock solid. We could very easily put another little deck on top of that. And although it's a little bit overgrown over here, so you can't see it too well, but this little piece right here, this is a little peninsula that sticks out here. Do a little gazebo out there too with a living space. I mean, not like living space, but a sitting place. Because I mean, that's where the sunset is. And then when you're out there, you're also getting that view in that direction. I'm just trying to find the best way to maximize this property. So we'll see. We'll see. First things first, let's get these cabinas done. Even when the water comes back on, Roberto's thinking it's probably going to be another month before he's going to be able to take on this job. Now, in that amount of time, maybe there's some stuff that I can do. I can have the roof dismantled, you know, get some things ready, maybe get the tops of the septic pits done. The water went out right when we were working on these lids, so it'd be nice to get these things done. I don't know. I hate to have to wait another month to get things going. I feel like I'm not doing anything right now, just kind of sitting on my hands. But that is the nature of being here to a degree. You have to just relax and let things happen as they're going to happen. But that's where we're at today. That's my thinking for today. And it is very much subject to change, as it always is. But as I stand here just looking out at this view, I would just rather be up here than any other place. And the idea of just having this as a business and not having it as a place where I live, you know, kind of seems like a shame. Like I'm not taking advantage of it as much as I should be and enjoying it as much as I should. So, you know, we'll see. We're going to take this bit by bit and see how things go. And that's all we can do, right? But first things first, let's get one of these suckers done so that I can start getting some renters in there and start actually feeling like I'm making some money off of this project instead of just dumping money into it. But I am absolutely confident that once it's done, it's going to be super popular. I mean, it's just such a gorgeous spot being up here, and really quiet, and there's a really nice breeze. When you're underneath the shade, it's just freaking perfect. So that's it from the job site for another day, my friends. Onward, forward, right? Let's keep our fingers crossed on this. Okay, I'll keep you posted. Take care.